dear. Your call, please. Operator, I've been trying to dial Murray Hill 40098 for the past 3/4 of an hour now, but the line is always busy. But I don't see how it could be busy that long. Will you try it for me, please?
Murray Hill 40098. One moment, please.
I really don't see how it could be busy that long. It's my husband's office. He's working late tonight, and I was trying to reach him to ask him to come home. I'm all alone in the house, and I've been feeling so nervous all day.
Ringing Murray Hill 40098.
Hello?
Hello? Hello, is Mr. Stevenson there?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, George?
Yes, sir?
Hello? What number am I calling, please?
I am here with our client. He says the coast is clear for tonight.
Yes, sir?
Where are you now?
I'm outside a phone booth.
Good. Now remember, at 11 o'clock, the private patrolman goes around to the bar on 2nd Avenue for a beer. Make sure all the lights downstairs are out. There should only be one light visible from the street. At 11:15, the subway train passes in front of our window, and it makes a noise in case she should scream.
Oh, hello. What number am I calling, please?
Now remember, our client does not wish to make us suffer long. As little blood as possible.
Knife okay, sir?
No, as little blood as possible. And remember, remove all the rings and bracelets and jewelry from the bureau drawer. Our client wishes it to look like a simple robbery.
Okay. I get it.
Oh, how awful. Oh, how unspeakably awful.
Your call, please.
Operator, I've just been cut off.
I'm sorry, madam. What number were you calling?
Well, it was supposed to be Murray Hill 40098, but it wasn't. Some wires must have crossed and I was cut into a wrong number, and operator, I've just overheard the most dreadful thing. A murder, and we've simply got to trace that call. We've got to trace it at once.
I don't quite...
Oh, I know it was a wrong number, and I had no business listening, but these two men, they were cold-blooded murderers. They were gonna murder this poor woman tonight at 11:15, and we've got to stop them. We've got to.
What number were you calling, madam?
That was a wrong number, and you dialed it. And you'll have to make that same mistake again, on purpose.
But, madam...
Why are you so stupid? Look, this was obviously a case of some little slip of the finger. You tried to dial Murray Hill 40098, but your finger must have slipped. I was connected into a wrong number, and I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me, and I simply failed to see why you couldn't make that same mistake again, on purpose, why you couldn't try to dial Murray Hill 40098 in the same careless sort of way.
Ringing Murray Hill 40098.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, madam, but that number's busy.
Operator! Operator!
Yes?
You didn't try to get that wrong number at all. I asked explicitly, and all you did was dial correctly.
I'm sorry, madam, but what number were you calling?
Can't you for once forget what number I was calling and do something specific? Now, I want to track down those men. It's my civic duty. It's your civic duty. And if you won't...
I will connect you to the chief operator.
Please.
Miss Curtis. Yes, dear, what's the trouble? Pick up on 17, please. Someone wants a call traced. I can't make head nor tail of it.
Sure, dear. 17? This is the chief operator.
Chief operator? Oh, this is Mrs. Albert Stevenson. I want to trace a call, a telephone call, immediately. I don't know where it came from or who was making it, but it's absolutely necessary that it be tracked down, because it was about a murder. A terrible, cold-blooded murder of a poor woman tonight at 11:15.
I see.
Can you trace it for me? Can you track down those men?
It depends, madam.
Depends on what?
It depends on whether the call is still going on or not. If it's a live call, we can trace it on the equipment. If it's been disconnected, we can't.
Disconnected?
If the parties have stopped talking to each other?
Oh, but of course they must have stopped talking to each other. That was at least 5 minutes ago. And they didn't sound like the type who would make a long call.
Well, I can try tracing it for you. What is your name, madam?
Mrs. Albert Smith Stevenson. But listen.
And your telephone number?
Plaza 42295. But if we go on wasting all this time...
And your reason for wanting this call traced?
My reason? Well, for heaven's sake, isn't it obvious? I overhear these two men. They're killers. They're planning to kill this poor woman. It's a matter for the police.
Have you told the police?
Well, no, how could I?
You're making this check into a private call as a private individual?
Yes, but meanwhile...
Well, Mrs. Stevenson, I seriously doubt we can make this check for you at this time, based on your say-so as a private individual. We'd have to have something more official.
Oh, for heaven's sake, you mean to tell me I can't report a murder without getting tied up in all this red tape? It's perfectly idiotic. All right, then, I will call the police.
Your call, please.
The police department, please.
Dialing the police department.
Hello, Precinct 43, Duffy speaking.
This is Mrs. Albert Smith Stevenson, 53 North Sutton Place, and I'm calling up to report a murder.
Huh?
I mean, the murder hasn't been committed yet. I overheard plans for it over the telephone, over a wrong number that the operator gave me. I've been trying to track it down myself, but everybody is so stupid. And I guess in the end, you're the only ones who could really help me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a perfectly definite murder. Two men were talking. They were going to murder some woman who was all alone tonight at 11:15 in a house near a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a private patrolman who was going to go around for a beer on 2nd Avenue. And there was a subway train, and they were going to take her rings and bracelets and use a knife. Well, it's upset me dreadfully, and I'm not well.
And when was all this, ma'am?
About eight minutes ago. Oh, then you can do something. You do understand.
And what is your name, ma'am?
Mrs. Albert Smith Stevenson.
And your address?
53 North Sutton Place. That's near a bridge. The Queensboro Bridge, you know. And I'm not far from 2nd Avenue, and we have a private patrolman on our street.
And what was the number you were calling?
Murray Hill 40098. But that wasn't the number I overheard. I mean, Murray Hill 40098 is my husband's office. He's working late tonight, and I'm alone in the house. And I'm an invalid, and it's the maid's night off, and I hate to be alone, even though Albert says I'm perfectly safe as long as I have a telephone right beside my bed.
Well then, lady, we'll see if we can contact the telephone company, and we'll look into it.
But the telephone company said they couldn't check the call if the parties had stopped talking to each other. I've already taken care of that.
Oh, yes?
Personally, I feel you ought to do something far more immediate and drastic than just check the call. What good does checking the call do if the parties have stopped talking to each other? The murder will already have been committed by then.
Lady, I said we'll take care of it.
I'd say the whole thing calls for a search. A complete and thorough search of the entire city. I'm very near 2nd Avenue, and I'm not far from a bridge. And personally, I'd feel a whole lot safer if you sent a radio call around to this neighborhood at once.
And what makes you think the murder's been committed in your neighborhood, ma'am?
Oh, I don't know. But the coincidence is so horrible. 2nd Avenue, the patrolman, the bridge.
2nd Avenue is a very long street, ma'am. And too many bridges there are in the city of New York alone, not to mention Brooklyn, Staten Island, the Queens, and the Bronx. How do you know they were talking about some little 2nd Avenue on some little bridge that you never heard about? How do you know they were talking about New York at all?
But I overheard the call on the New York dialing system.
Telephones are funny things. Look, lady, why don't you look at it this way? Supposing you got your husband the way you always do. Would this call have made any difference to you than it does now?
I suppose not, but it's so inhuman, so cold-blooded.
A lot of murders are committed in this city every day, ma'am. If we could do something to stop them, we would. But a clue of this kind that's so vague isn't much use to us to no clue at all.
But surely...
Unless you have some reason for thinking the call was phony, and that someone may be planning to murder you.
Me? Oh, no. I should hardly think so. I mean, why should anybody? I'm alone all day and night. The only person I see is my maid, Eloise. She's a big 200-pounder. She's too lazy to bring up my breakfast tray. The only other person is my husband, Albert, and he's crazy about me. He adores me. Waits on me hand and foot. He's scarcely left my side since I took sick 12 years ago.
Well then, lady, it looks like you have nothing to worry about. So you leave the rest of this all up to us.
But what will you do? It's so late. It's nearly 11 o'clock.
Lady, I said we'll take care of it.
Will you broadcast it all over the city? And warn your cars, and send out squads, and warn them to watch out, especially in suspicious neighborhoods like mine.
Lady, I said we'll take care of it. Just now I have some other matters I need to look into.
Oh, idiot. Now why did I do that? Now he'll think I am a fool. Why doesn't Albert come home? Why doesn't he?
Your call, please.
Operator, for heaven's sake, will you try Murray Hill 40098 for me, please? I can't think what's keeping him so long.
Ringing Murray Hill 40098. I'm sorry, madam. That line is busy.
I know it's busy. I can hear it. You don't have to tell me. Why doesn't he come home? Hello? Hello, Albert? Hello? Hello, Albert, is that you? Hello? Hello? If I could only get out of this bed for a little while. Lean out the window, see the street, get some fresh air. Hello? 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 What number are you calling, please? Hello? Hello? Stop calling. Do you hear me?
Your call, please.
Operator, I simply don't know what's the matter with this phone tonight. I have never seen such inefficient, miserable service. Now look, I'm an invalid and I'm not supposed to be annoyed, but if this keeps up much longer...
What seems to be the trouble, madam?
Well, the whole world could be murdered for all you people care. And now my phone keeps ringing.
Yes, madam?
Ringing and ringing and ringing every 5 seconds or so, and when I pick it up, there's no one there.
I'm sorry. If you will hang up, I will test it for you.
I don't want you to test it for me. I want you to put through that call, whoever it is, at once.
I'm afraid that is not possible, madam.
Not possible? And why, may I ask?
The system is automatic. If someone is trying to dial your number, there's no way to check whether the call is coming through the system or not, unless the person who is trying to reach you complains to his particular operator.
Of all the stupid, complicated... And meanwhile, I've got to sit here in my bed, suffering every time that phone rings, imagining everything.
I will check it for you, madam.
Check it, that's all you people can do. It's perfectly ridiculous. What's the use? Hello? Hello, who's calling? Hello? What number are you trying to call, please? Stop ringing this number. Do you hear me? Stop ringing. Do you realize you're driving me crazy?
Hello? Is this Plaza 42295?
Yes, this is Plaza 42295.
This is Western Union. I have a telegram here for Mrs. Albert Stevenson. Is there anyone there to receive this message?
I am Mrs. Stevenson.
The telegram is as follows. Mrs. Albert Stevenson, 53 North Sutton Place, New York, New York. Darling, terribly sorry. Tried to get you for last hour, but line busy. Leaving for Boston 11 p.m. tonight on urgent business. Be back tomorrow afternoon. Keep happy. Love, signed, Albert.
Oh, no.
That's all, madam. Would you like us to deliver a copy of this message?
No, thank you.
Thank you, madam, and have a good night.
Good night. No, he couldn't do this to me. No, and he knows I'll be alone all night. It's some trick. It's some fiendish...
Your call, please.
Murray Hill 40098, please.
Dialing Murray Hill 40098.
Oh no, he's gone. Oh, Albert, how could you? But I can't be alone tonight. I can't. If I'm alone for one more second, I need someone here with me. I'll hire a nurse for the night. I'll hire a trained nurse. I don't care what the expense is. I'm a sick woman.
This is information.
I want the phone number of Henchley Hospital, please.
Henchley Hospital, do you have the address, madam?
No, it's somewhere in the 70s, though. It's a very small, private, and exclusive hospital where I had my appendix out 2 years ago. Henchley, H-E-N-C.
1 moment, please.
Please hurry. And please, what is the time?
I do not know. You can find the time by dialing Meridian 71212, madam.
Oh, for heaven's sake, couldn't you just...
The number to Henchley Hospital is Butterfield 70105.
Will you ring it for me, please?
1 moment, please.
Penchley Hospital, good evening.
Nurses Registry.
Who is it you wish to speak to, madam?
I want the nurses registry at once. I want to hire a nurse for the night.
I see. Now, what is the nature of this case, ma'am?
Nerves. I'm very nervous. I need companionship and soothing. My husband is away, and
I see. Have you been recommended to us by any physician in particular, ma'am?
No, but I really don't see why all this catechizing is necessary. I want a trained nurse. I was a patient in your hospital 2 years ago, and I do expect to pay this person.
We quite understand that, madam. However, registered nurses are very scarce just now, and our superintendent has asked us to send people out only where the physician in charge feels that it's absolutely necessary.
Well, it is absolutely necessary. I'm an invalid, and I'm alone in the house, and tonight I overheard a conversation that upset me dreadfully. It was about a murder, and if someone doesn't come at once, I think I'll go out of my mind.
I see. Well, I'll speak to Mrs. Phillips as soon as she gets in. Now, what is your name, ma'am?
Miss Phillips, and when do you expect her in?
I really don't know, ma'am. She went out to supper at about 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock? But it's not even 11. Oh, my clock has stopped. Oh, I thought it was running down. What time is it?
It's just 14 minutes past 11, ma'am. Now, about this...
What was that?
What was what?
That click in my own line just now. As if someone had picked up the extension phone downstairs.
I didn't hear anything.
But I did. There's someone in this house. Oh no, they're listening to me. They can hear every word I'll be quiet. I'll sit here and I won't say a word and they'll think, oh, but if I don't call someone now, while they're still down there, there'll be no time.
Your call, please.
Operator, I am in desperate trouble.
I cannot hear you, madam. Please speak louder.
I don't dare. There's someone in this house. Oh, please, you've got to hear me. You've got to help me.
Your call, please. What number are you calling?
Oh, please, you've got to hear me. There's someone in this house. They're coming to murder me and... Oh, there it is. He's put it down. He's coming up the stairs. You've got to get in touch with the police department.
Dialing the police department.
Oh, please. They're coming to murder me. Give me the police department. The police!
Hello, Precinct 43. Doc speaking. Hello, Precinct 43. Hello? Hello? Is everything okay? Hello? Can I help you?
Sorry.